Hello and welcome to Theatre.Reviews with Paul Seven. I'm here at the Bridge Theatre to see Guys and Dolls. From the moment you walk into the auditorium at the Bridge Theatre and see the in-the-round arrangement with half the audience milling about on the stage floor, neon lights hanging above them, you know this production of Guys and Dolls is going to be something special. Here's a photo I took. For many, including myself, Frank Loesser's 1950 musical is the greatest of them all. Until now, Richard Eyre's legendary production at the National Theatre from 1982, for those of us that saw it, is the one every other production is judged by. So how does this compare with this? And what about the stars? Well, we know from Dreamgirls, Hairspray and The Young Vics, Oklahoma that Marisha Wallace has a tremendous voice, but how well does Daniel Mays perform in a musical? And if you don't fancy standing for 2 hours looking up at the action, what are the best seats to sit in? Keep watching to find out. First, if you're not familiar with Guys and Dolls, you might wonder what makes it, for many people, the greatest musical. Of course, there are other candidates, but it's hard to find another that offers quite such a clever, fast-moving, romantic plot with such witty, captivating dialogue and endearing characters. That's thanks to Abe Burrows and the source material by Damon Runyon. Then this is integrated with a packed score of classic songs, from solos to duets to trios and ensembles by Frank Loesser, that set the mood, carry the story forward, and bring out all the complexities of the characters. As soon as the overture begins, the neon signs fly upwards and risers come out of the floor. Designer Bunny Christie has choreographed the rise and fall of numerous platforms across the whole of the stage area as beautifully as Arlene Phillips has the dancing. And, well, working in the round is never easy for the lighting designer, but the stage or stages are cleverly lit by Paule Constable, so everything is illuminated without the light getting in your eyes. I'm telling you, it took some time for my jaw to stop dropping as the incredible front of house staff, many in police outfits, gently corralled the crowd out of the way of the many different interconnecting platforms going seamlessly up and down. And that's just the beginning of the way director Nicholas Hytner tackles the challenge of presenting a musical that, for all its qualities, is still riven with the sexism of the 1950s. By making a significant chunk of the audience part of the show, they, and by proxy those of us who are sitting, are also part of the strange parallel universe of Runyonland, a world with stylized language, comic criminals and binary guys and dolls. In this fantasy world, the men can all be gamblers and wastrels following Nathan Detroit's floating crap game, and the women can all be Christian missionaries or strippers, the classic virgin or whore, until the ending brings us back to a more normal world, as if we've woken from a dream. Then there's the way Mr. Hytner has cast the show. There are two love stories that give Guys and Dolls its momentum. For a bet, gambler Sky Masterson needs to seduce Sarah Brown, the buttoned-up leader of a Salvation Army-like mission. And Nathan Detroit needs to keep stringing along his hapless fiancée of 14 years, Miss Adelaide. It's hard to deny that the women are presented in the musical as the weaker sex. So, as if to make up for this, the production gives them the best and strongest voices. That's no offence to Daniel Mays in the role of Nathan Detroit, who has a decent singing voice. He sings his big duet, Sue Me, with great poignancy, but it's not a challenging song, given that it was originally written for Sam Levine, who is tone deaf. And Andrew Richardson as Sky Masterson sounds perfectly good, but Celinde Schoenmaker as Sarah has a big-lunged, high-note-hitting voice, and Marisha Wallace, who plays Miss Adelaide, has a voice that could blow the roof off, and a personality to match. So, while Miss Adelaide is a slave to her love for Nathan, in every other respect she comes across as a liberated, strong woman. When the two women sing the duet Marry the Man Today, they match one another note for note and provide one of the highlights of the show. The rest of the cast are racially diverse, which is another way of pulling the musical into the present day. The tone of the musical is set from the first number, when out of the bustling crowd of actors and audience emerge a trio of petty criminals who sing Tin Horn Fugue, a song about betting on horses, in which they sing different lyrics simultaneously to the same tune. The complexity of this circular canon delights and exhilarates, and sets us up for a musical which will continue to excite those emotions. Ah, what emotions they are. We're quickly plunged into the first meeting between Skye and Sarah, in which they sing the beautiful romantic song I'll Know, in which each describes their ideal lover. The transformational power of love, in other words, the way love can change a person, is the driving force of this musical. Or as the song puts it, when you see a guy reach for stars in the sky, you can bet that he's doing it for some doll. In this production, the sexual side of love is accentuated. Miss Adelaide's cabaret act is raunchier than I've ever seen it, especially when the hot box dancers give us a highly suggestive strip show to the tune of Take Back Your Mink. And in the Havana nightclub to which Skye takes Sarah, there is some very sensual dancing, at times between male couples. And that trip to Havana is the point at which Skye and Sarah fall in love. Sarah, having got drunk, gets in a fight, then sings the standout song, If I Were a Bell. Celinde Schoenmaker hits jaws and notes with equal force. For me, this was the best of legendary choreographer Arlene Phillips' many outstanding dance routines, as Sarah leaps on and off lampposts and free falls into Skye's arms. Both song and movement express the exuberance of falling in love. Back to the floating crap game, and Nathan Detroit is squirming in the threatening presence of the gangster Big Jewel, played by Cameron Johnson. Andrew Richardson sings another classic, Luck Be a Lady, with the right kind of urgency. But let me just pause here to talk about Daniel Mays. While he's perfectly capable as a singer, as an actor, he is peerless. Think Del Boy Trotter meets Arthur Daly, and you get some idea of his realisation of a character who is both dominant of those below him and submissive to those above. Nathan may have a New York accent, but in Daniel Mays' hands, he's straight out of the East End, tit-for and all. Then as the gamblers assemble in the mission hall, we come to the moment we've all been waiting for, Sit Down, You're Rocking the Boat. Another fast, intoxicating song and a classic 11 o'clock number, which is the name given to a showstopper that comes near the end of a musical. And Cedric Neal, as Nicely Johnson, certainly does stop the show. The song gets the many encores it deserves, and the audience expects, not only for Mr. Neal's enthusiastic singing, but also for the way the congregation sway in unison in their seats in yet another inventive dance sequence. It's a climactic moment that catapults us to the resolution of the plot. But it ain't over till it's over. After the finale, featuring the song Guys and Dolls, and the bows and the applause, the cast stay on the floor to dance with the audience as the splendid orchestra under the direction of Tom Brady play us out, as you can see in this photo. That's it. An incomparable 5-star production. Incomparable because it's so different to any previous version of Guys and Dolls that it's impossible to say it's better. All I can say is the definitive 1982 National Theatre production has a rival. One last thing. While the show is intended to be immersive and is no doubt aimed first and foremost at those standing on the floor, not everyone will want to stand for 2 hours or look up for that long. So if you decide to buy a seat, the best, in my opinion, are in the centre of stalls row BB and CC. In those seats, you'll be level with the actors on the raised platforms and feel close to the action. And you'll be able to see the brilliant orchestra on the opposite side of the auditorium at the back of the circle. And, as a bonus, you'll have easy access to the on-stage party at the end of the show. I hope you enjoyed this review and found it useful. If you did, please comment, like and subscribe, and then you'll be the first to know about my future reviews. You can also read my reviews at Theatre.Reviews and follow me on Twitter, Mastodon, Instagram and Facebook. Thank you for watching.